Hey guys, welcome
Gone.
back to another Access 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview. I'm here with Slanie Nolan. Slanie, how are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How's yourself? All right.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the channel.
Good, good. Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem.
Lovely stuff. So am I right in saying you're a professional boxer who's just turned professional now?
Yeah, just turned pro now with Scott Callow. Looking forward to seeing what comes in the future, but training hard and ready to get things going.
Good to hear. So just before we speak about the current and the future, speak about the past a little bit. So why did you start boxing?
Why did I start boxing?
Mm-hmm.
Started boxing to lose a little bit of weight. To be honest with you, to be fair, I was decent at football, and I ended up playing for like a decent standard and stuff as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a bit aggressive on the pitch,
Mm-hmm.
so my mum coming to watch me one day and she said, "Why don't you start doing something that's a little bit better for you, like boxing or something? Take your aggression out." And I said, "Yeah, no worries." So I gave it a go. Went down to the boxing gym also to lose a bit of weight as well, and then yeah, started to get good at it and took it from there. Really.
Of course, and I mean that's a similar type of story to, of course, a lot of people's maybe getting in trouble a little bit and then turning to boxing. And from now, maybe as you are a little bit older and you now look back and maybe for yourself and when you eventually have kids, I don't know if you have kids now or not, but either way, do you recommend to parents if they do have a kid that's in that kind of position to go into boxing? Because some parents are against boxing and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's good for everything. It's the discipline. It's good obviously for weight loss, mental health as well. It's good for your mental.
Mm.
It's just an all round good sport to be involved in. I think,
Mm.
even if you don't take it to that level, it's just being a part of something. I think is good,
Mm.
especially for young kids.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. And so, for yourself, your first fight, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
Yeah, I lost.
Okay.
That's what I can remember. My first amateur fight. I boxed in a place called Boston,
Mm.
not in America,
Yeah.
but in the UK.
Mm.
I went there, barely got hit, but I didn't throw anything back because I was a bit like had a bit of stage fright.
Mm.
But I just lost on points, and then obviously used that as a lesson to take into the next fight, and went in there and done well in the next one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Of course, and of course, everybody, especially for their first amateur fight, has nerves. But do you often suffer with nerves before fights now, or not really?
Not anymore, no.
Mm.
Not so much anymore. You get past it after you've had a good few amateurs. You kind of get to learn like it's only you and him in there. Do you know what I mean? It's not everyone that's outside the ring. That's, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Obviously, sometimes when you're up against a big crowd or whatever, especially in an away fight, it can be quite difficult. But yeah, no, it's I've kind of got used to it now.
Mm. Of course, good to hear. And so, for your amateurs, your biggest achievement, what would you say that was?
Um, I done well in the nationals, open class, got to the quarterfinals, lost against a good lad in the nationals, and then after that went into an international tournament, boxed for in a box cup,
Mm.
lost in the quarters on that as well. To be fair, but the guy that won that tournament, I wanted to fight, so I fought him at Pride Park and
Mm.
ended up beating him.
Mm.
And then a couple of fights later, I fought for the English national youth title. So I've fought some good standard as an amateur.
Mm.
And then yeah, that was it. After that fight, I decided to turn pro because it was a bit of a iffy decision. I thought in the fight. It was an away fight, and obviously,
Mm.
as you know, you can't always be guaranteed to win fighting away. So I thought I may as well get paid to get punched in the face rather than do it
Mm.
for free. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, totally. And so I heard from what I've seen that you managed to, or didn't manage to, kind of get any fights during COVID and everything like, even though you wanted to turn pro around that time. And how kind of frustrating was it to go through that period?
Yeah, I mean, so I first turned pro in August 2019
Mm.
with Pride of Yorkshire Promotions,
Mm.
which is Ryan Rhodes and Steffi Bull's promotion company. And I was training in Spain for like 7 months, living out there in Lanzarote, doing a big training camp leading
Mm.
up to like my debut. And obviously, as soon as I was meant to fight was March 2020, and that's the month of COVID. So
Yeah.
obviously, it felt like all that had been a waste of time.
Mm.
After that, kind of like didn't fall out of love with the sport, but I just thought nothing's going to happen. So I took a bit of time off, and then obviously, as you know, taking time off training and stuff, you put weight on, you
Mm.
create bad habits and stuff, and I kind of fell off, to be honest. It's only after obviously COVID and everything's completely been over and done with. I got back on it, and this is where I am now. Really, just trying to get the weight off still, and thankfully Scott's agreed to sign me, so back on it.
Like you said, you've kind of been through these tough times, but what would you say is this current main motivation for the sport for you?
At the minute, I'd say my motivation. Mate, to be honest, this is a bit of a tough question. I don't really know. I don't really know. To be fair, I just motivate myself. To be honest with you, just obviously, just want to get that pro debut done. Do you know what I mean? I want to get that over and done with, and then move on from there. So I reckon it's the keeping that in like tunnel vision sort of thing. Just working towards that pro debut. That's what's motivating me, definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. And so for your pro debut, of course, like you mentioned, you're working with Scott Kalo, and so how excited are you to be working with him?
Yeah, no, very excited to work with Scott. Yeah, he's got a good few fighters under him. He's done a few things for a few fighters, and if he can do it for them, he can do it for me. So yeah, very excited to get working with him. I'm also with training at Dan Gray's gym in Derby. Dan puts a lot of time and effort into his fighters, which is what I want. I want someone that can. I said to Dan when I first went down to him, I said I want someone that can put in to me what I'm putting into them.
Yeah.
I said I don't expect any more or any less. If I'm not putting it into you, then I don't expect. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm excited definitely, and we've got a good little team around me now, and there's no reason why things can't go well.
Of course, and we spoke to Dan Gray, and so he's kind of answered this question for you, I suppose. But either way, do you have a possible date of when you will be making your debut?
There's no date confirmed yet. I've spoken to Scott and Dan, and we've kind of agreed that we're hoping to fight at the end of the year. I'm just waiting now because originally I had my license. Waiting because it's been a few years. I'm waiting to get that back again. I need to go through the whole process. So there's going to be a board meeting, and then obviously medicals and scans and whatever. As soon as I've got that, then things are ready to go. Really, then I'll just be a matter of time for waiting for Scott to get me a date, but hopefully towards the end of this year.
Brilliant.
That's what I mean.
Okay, and so for this fight of yours, for anybody that's not watched you fight before, what would you say makes yourself interesting as a fighter?
I like a good tear up, to be honest with you. I'm not afraid to get hit or to hit really. I think I've got quite a flashy style when the confidence kicks in. But yeah, if people come to watch me, you can expect a good little tear up, really. Get your money's worth.
Amazing stuff. And so, for your kind of future ambitions in the sport, how far do you believe you can go?
I just want to go as far as possible, to be honest with you. I mean, everyone says they want world titles and whatever, but if I don't get that, then that's how it's meant to be, really. I'll just go as far as I possibly can and keep going fight by fight, step by step. And if eventually that day comes where there's titles there, then I'll take them. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, most definitely. And so, I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Shout out Box Clever, Boxing Gym. Shout out Dan Gray and Scott Callow and the rest of the lads at the gym as well.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. All right, thank you very much for doing this, mate. And maybe a little bit further along down the line, I mean, I've said to both Dylan and Dan that I'll be probably at your debut fight anyway, your debut card. And so if I catch you there, maybe we can have a little chat and see how things go after your fight.
Perfect, mate. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. And so if you're on your round 10 yet, subscribe, please do so. Like the video if you do like the video, and thanks for watching.